History is full of inventions that changed the world, but some of the most important ones are never talked about. One of them is hidden in plain sight, right beneath our clothes. Its story begins long before comfort was ever a concept. Imagine a world where something you rely on every single day simply didn't exist. No comfort, no fit, no hidden layer protecting you from heat, cold, or even your own clothing. It sounds almost impossible today, but for most of human history, people lived exactly like that. And here's the surprising part. The story of underwear isn't just about clothing. It's about survival, technology, social control, and even power. Because what people chose to wear underneath, their clothes often revealed more about their lives than what they wore on the outside. Before underwear became a normal part of daily life, human beings were focused on one thing: survival. In prehistoric times, people lived in harsh environments where protection from weather and injury mattered far more than modesty. They wrapped themselves in animal skins or rough plant fibers, creating basic coverings for warmth and protection. But there was no concept of layers, no distinction between inner and outer clothing. Everything was functional, and yet, this simplicity raises an interesting question. When did humans first feel the need for something beneath their clothes? The answer begins in ancient civilizations, where life started to become more structured and organized. Take ancient Egypt, for example, a place defined by extreme heat and strong social hierarchy. People needed clothing that was light, breathable, and practical. This is where one of the earliest forms of underwear appeared, the linen loincloth. It was simple, a piece of fabric wrapped and secured around the waist. But here's what makes it fascinating. It wasn't just practical, it was symbolic. The quality of the fabric often reflected a person's social status. The finer the linen, the higher the rank. And in some cases, these garments were so valued that they were buried with their owners, as if they would still be needed in the afterlife. Now shift to ancient Greece and Rome, where society had a completely different relationship with the human body. In Greece, especially, the body was celebrated, not hidden. Athletes competed with minimal clothing, sometimes none at all, showing strength and physical perfection. But even in these cultures, there was still a need for basic undergarments. In daily life, Roman men wore a simple cloth tied around the waist, while women used bands for support. These designs were minimal, but they marked a turning point. People were beginning to understand that what you wear underneath can affect comfort, movement, and daily life. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. As Europe moved into the Middle Ages, life became more rigid and hygiene became a serious challenge. Bathing was rare, and clothing wasn't washed frequently, so instead of washing outer garments, people relied on something else: underwear. Men wore loose linen garments that acted like early shorts, while women wore long shifts beneath their dresses. These layers absorbed sweat and dirt, protecting the outer clothing. And here's the key detail. This wasn't about fashion. It was about survival in a world where cleanliness was difficult to maintain. As time moved into the Renaissance, everything began to change again. Art, science, and culture were evolving rapidly, and so was fashion. But with this evolution came a new obsession: appearance. People didn't just want to be comfortable, they wanted to look a certain way. Underwear started to play a completely different role. Men's garments became more fitted, while women began wearing structured underlayers designed to shape the body. And then came one of the most controversial pieces in clothing history: the corset. It wasn't designed for comfort, it was designed for control, forcing the body into ideal shapes defined by society. And this raises an important idea. For centuries, underwear wasn't about comfort at all. It was about expectations. It was about fitting into a system where appearance often mattered more than physical ease. People were willing to sacrifice comfort just to meet social standards. And this pattern would continue for a long time. By the 8th century, however, something started to shift. Society was growing, cities were expanding, and trade networks were bringing new materials into everyday life. Cotton began to replace linen, making garments softer and more comfortable. Men wore longer drawers, while women adopted split designs that allowed more freedom of movement. And here's the interesting part. These designs might seem unusual today, but they were actually solutions to real problems. And people were slowly starting to prioritize practicality alongside modesty. Then came a moment that changed everything: the Industrial Revolution. For the first time in history, clothing could be produced on a massive scale. This meant underwear was no longer limited to the wealthy. It became accessible to ordinary people. And with this shift came innovation, new fabrics, new designs, and a growing focus on comfort. But more importantly, it changed how people viewed underwear. It was no longer a luxury, it became a necessity. But even with these advancements, the 19th century had its own contradictions. People lived under strict social rules where modesty was everything. Men wore full body garments known as union suits, covering themselves from neck to ankles. Women layered multiple pieces under heavy dresses, creating complex systems of clothing that were often uncomfortable and restrictive. And here's the surprising truth: despite all this progress, comfort still wasn't the priority. Looking proper was. Then suddenly, everything changed again. The early 20th century brought a wave of modernization. New ideas, new technologies, and new lifestyles began to reshape daily life. People were moving faster, working more, and becoming more active, and their clothing had to keep up. This is when underwear truly started to resemble what we know today. The invention of elastic materials was a game changer, allowing garments to stretch and fit the body naturally. Men's briefs were introduced, offering support without excess fabric, while women's designs became lighter, shorter, and far more practical. But history didn't move in a straight line. Global conflicts like World War I and World War II forced people to adapt in unexpected ways. Fabric shortages meant simpler designs. Materials had to be used efficiently. Soldiers needed durable and comfortable undergarments for long periods in harsh conditions. And here's what makes this important. Many of the innovations created during these difficult times later influenced everyday clothing. After the wars, people wanted comfort. They had experienced hardship, and they were no longer willing to sacrifice ease for appearance alone. As the 20th century continued, underwear stepped out of the shadows and into the spotlight. For the first time, it wasn't just about function, it became part of identity. Advertising changed everything, turning basic garments into symbols of style and confidence. People began to care not just about how underwear felt, but how it represented them. New materials like synthetic fibers improved durability and flexibility. Designs became more diverse, offering choices for different lifestyles and preferences. And now, we arrive at the modern world, a place where underwear is more advanced than ever before. Today's designs focus on comfort, performance, and even sustainability. Fabrics are engineered to be breathable, moisture-wicking, and environmentally friendly. There's a growing awareness of how clothing affects the planet, leading to more responsible production methods. At the same time, modern underwear reflects something deeper. It embraces diversity, different body types, different needs, different identities, all considered in design. But here's the most fascinating part of this entire journey. Underwear has always adapted to human life. It changed when humans changed. It improved when societies evolved. It responded to climate, technology, war, and culture in ways most people never notice. So the next time you put on something as simple as underwear, think about this. You're not just wearing fabric, you're wearing thousands of years of human history. You're wearing innovation shaped by survival, comfort shaped by struggle, and design shaped by culture. Because in the end, this isn't just the history of underwear. It's the history of how humans learn to live better, feel better, and adapt to a constantly changing world. And somehow, through all of that, one small hidden layer became an essential part of everyday life.